Hello, and we have a new chapter of Shonen Jump to read through together today, starting with the latest My Hero Academia. This is chapter 249. It is called Final Performance. Okay, so in the last one, things looked dire for the heroes, then dire for the villains, then dire for the heroes, then dire for the villains, so on and so forth, back and forth for a long time, as it has been throughout much of this arc. But at the last moment, the heroes got a major victory as Gigantomachia, basically a walking nuclear bomb, is down for the count. The sedative that the kids got into his mouth a semi-arc ago has finally taken effect. It is surely no mere coincidence. So, and maybe the arc is kind of wrapping up. Whenever they start showing all these shots of the injured people, kind of reminding you, yeah, all these people got like hella hurt, but maybe they survived, maybe there's okay. Even Gran Torino is shown on a ventilator here. He might not be totally out of it yet. It usually is an indication that the arc is wrapping up, that this long war is finally coming to a close. And as I kind of expected, it wasn't a super definitive victory for either side. But rather kind of a show of strength in both regards. Of course, the perception of Endeavor and maybe the perception of heroes in general is going to change going forward, which could lead to some interesting kind of like ideological changes in the series, or in the way that the characters kind of grapple with the lore of the series. But I think it's more just building up your anticipation for the next showdown. And who knows what'll happen between now and then. Little by little, so many of us wore down the giant until he was weak enough for the drug to take hold. Even the thinnest threads can come together and braid a mighty rope. But hadn't even a single thread frayed and come loose, all would have been lost. That I do believe. Basaginus coughing out blood with the strain of maintaining his quirk to this degree. A pretty powerful little speech by him. I really love in shonen series where there's a character who is very, very powerful, but hasn't been given a lot of screen time yet. But that when they do, they start taking on some of the roles of a main character, of a protagonist. Like giving these sort of inspirational summing up speeches. That it just really, I think, adds a lot of gravity to the character. I think of, in particular, in the Whitebeard War in One Piece, there's a part where Doflamingo gives like a fairly long speech. And until this point, we've seen Doflamingo for a total of like maybe 10 panels. And yet so much you gather about his character and how he got in the position he is, because he can occupy that story focus. Okay, the Nomus, of course, still grappling with an array of heroes. Gigantomachia looking weak, looking weary. Todoroki burning up, his fight with Dabi continuing. And now, one final push. Lemillionaire just straight up smacking this Nomu in the face after glitching out of the ground. No wonder the heroes over there are having a rough time. The moves these things make are simple, but their speed and toughness are off the charts. And that's coming from him, whose speed and toughness are 1,000,000%. Each one's got to be just as strong as a Nomu and Kyushu. You don't want to get tagged by these guys. Oh my god, and Ida already calls him Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. That's so cute. Just one chapter later, he's already adopted this name. In a snappy comeback, because he's right, yeah. They're just trying to occupy all of the Nomus so the best genus can continue focusing. They're not even like... only I think Lemillionaire is legitimately fighting back with the hope of being able to beat one. The rest of them are just trying to occupy them. So I'm going to redirect the resources spent on restraining the giant towards the League of Villains. Ooh, man. I'm really impressed with how they keep doing this. That various members of the League at various times in various contexts that up until then hadn't been taking a super active role, that didn't seem particularly special, just another villain, suddenly emerge as such potentially nightmarish threats. Like Compress, his quirk is insane. It's like ridiculously imba. You can just go around capsuling people. But until just now, I'd almost forgotten how crazy his power was. And we're reminded in the most disturbing way, this hyper close-up of his mask. This tidy tie-up job prevents me from touching the cables, and without physical touch I cannot activate my compress quirk. Such dire straits, and all I can do is tickle my own behind. The boss fares no better. What a intricately weird way of speaking this guy has. All of the League of Villains are just so overloaded with personality. I love it. You summoned us together, did you not? Told us to run amok, right? What are we supposed to think when even your act is cut short? This amounted to a trap. I haven't destroyed a darn thing yet. Yeah, Spinner was trying to rile him up. Dabi, young Toga, and I have yet to achieve our dreams. And here we get a shot of Toga running through these suburbs where she was fighting Froppy and oh my god, Orocho? I never can remember her name. You know who I mean, Floating Girl. Oh, I just thought I saw my cat. So I wonder what happened there. Like, we left that very unconcluded, and now she's running off and it looks like she's sighing. It would be kind of weird to go back to it now just because we've gone to such other events of such like high magnitude and scale. So I think that one is just kind of going to fade away into mystery. And the total ramifications of what happened during their fight, including like the emotional ramifications, something we're going to have to deal with later. Okay. So their binding becomes ever tighter as Best Jeanist can redirect his focus. I love the League. Collection of warped minds who never bothered prying into each other's past. Just a band of egotists. Tomura is the key. Man, Spinner looks in a world of hurt right now. His like eyes are bulging out. Timing must be right. When the heroes are a bit further, and the Nomu in the optimal position, she'll buy you 5 seconds during which to rouse the boss. Every decent performer requires a good assistant. So he's going to compress himself. He taps his own butt and coughs out blood. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means, Toast? Do you know? He doesn't know either. Gouging out my own flesh gives my arm room to maneuver. And free use of my arm means I can do this. Wow, so I guess he used his quirk to compress just a chunk of his own flesh, unable to slip to enable him to slip through the bindings. Okay, intense. Again, I really appreciate how the villains are doing kind of like heroic type things. They get their own like heroic escalations and twists and stuff. But usually with this kind of deranged, self-sacrificial, unsafe mentality that I find really compelling and a good contrast to the more like you know, Deku's always blowing himself up and stuff too, but this seems kind of more gory. It seems like it takes a depraved imagination to think of compressing a chunk of your own body. You would never do that. Don't believe for a single moment that you're the only ones giving your lives for a cause. Ready for a taste of prime entertainment. Okay. So Compress runs off. Maiming his own body, really? The wound is fatal. You have no hope of escaping. Okay. Ripping off and compressing his own clothes so the Best Jeanist can't take over. The social media man, name forgotten, is trapped under a bunch of bindings as well. He just goes around compressing chunks of cord. Oji Harima, the Peerless Thief, a criminal from days gone by. I was wondering if we were going to see his backstory when he mentioned that thing about how the League never looked into each other's backstories. They were too egotistical for that. But now, in what looks like his final villain heroic act of self-sacrifice to save his comrades, I guess we're going to take this opportunity to go into it a little bit. Just when the current system begins settling into place, Harima targeted the fattened pockets of sham heroes. He preached reformation while turning what he pilfered back to the streets. A real Robin Hood type. A Robin Hood type that targets false Robin Hood types. So again, we can see how there is some sort of nobility in a lot of these villainous characters' motivations. Or at least something relatable, something understandable. They're not just evil for the sake of evil. Listen, Atsuhiro. Our family's lineage is all about exposing injustice. That righteous blood runs in our veins. Okay. Meanwhile, Dabi just incinerating Todoroki. So now there's no point in going on with this little performance. Sorry, masterpiece. The reformation you cannot achieve. I now hand off to my boss. I am Harima's great-great-grandson. The Bandit King's blood flows through me. Okay. So this is a long time ago. Yeah. Okay, I misunderstood at first. I thought when it said a criminal from days gone by, I was like, oh, he used to be a criminal. No. He's talking about his ancestor. I see. He barely noticed me? It's all part of the act. Yeah, again, it's speaking to the readers here as well, you know? That they're deliberately doing this. They're deliberately hiding the potential of the various League of Villain people's quirks. The true trick is saved till the end. And here we see maskless for the first time. The curtain rises on the first and final escape artist performance of Mr. Compress. So I'm not quite sure exactly what his plan here. He ran around, he compressed a ton of people. He has the artificial limb, we knew about that from a previous fight. But the whole goal here is to revive Shigaraki, Tomura-chan. So he compressed the rest of the League members. Again, this feels like setting up for kind of the end of the arc. That this is the way that the League members all get away, kind of beating a hasty retreat. Maybe there's going to be one kind of final burst of strength from Tomura. But I feel like, yeah, this is the escape art. This is the final escape artist performance. So this is kind of setting up how the League's escape will happen. Okay. Alright, okay. Dang, this volume looks so intense. Jeez Louise, it's genuinely scary. But let's look forward to the next chapter, probably out next Sunday. Alright, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.